Hi guys, Andy from Vivid Ink. Hope everyone's good, and today I wanted to do a real quick explainer on the most common tattoo styles we see in Vivid Ink. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I've decided to do a bit of a short list because essentially there are so many styles and there's also styles within styles. So let's have a look at the 10 that you most commonly see. Okay, so first up is realism. Now, realism tattoos are what they say on the tin there. Tattoos that look as realistic as possible. So let's say you want to get a lifelike tattoo of your favorite pet, for example. You would want it to look as close to the original image as possible, and that's what realism tattoos do. You might choose your realism tattoo to be full color, like in real life, or black and gray like an old photograph, but the concept stays the same. Myself, I only have black and grey realism tattoos over my whole body, so I think it's fair to say that it's my personal favourite tattoo style. Next up is traditional tattoos. Now, traditional tattoos, it's sometimes shortened to trad, and they're sometimes called old school tattoos as well, and they are the original American style of tattooing. They use really heavy, thick lines, bold colours, and iconic tattooing imagery that can be done in black and grey, as well as simple colours, and they all have really strong symbolic value to the designs. These are the style of tattoos you think of when you think of old school tattoo shops with designs all over the walls. But having said that, they are as popular today as they were back when they originated. Okay, so next up is neo-traditional or neo-trad tattoos. Now, these are similar in some ways to traditional tattoos, but with a new vibe to it. So these have got a broader range of colours, they're more detailed, use different line thicknesses, maybe with different colour blends or even more realistic elements included as well. And they are generally just less confined to an exact style than trad tattoos are. They still have that real iconic imagery of trad tattoos, just not in such a structured way. Next up is dot work. Now, dot work is completely different to the previous three styles we spoke about. And what the artist does is essentially use tiny dots closely spaced together to create an effect of shading. Now, the dots of ink can be placed further apart or closer together and with different shades to create a multitude of different varying gradients, meaning there are loads of options when it comes to dot work. Now, these are typically used in geometric or symmetrical shapes, but certainly not exclusively to this. Dot work is incredibly popular, and to be fair, it's really easy to see why. So now we move on to Japanese tattoos. These are again often super bold, colourful, and they are normally large scale tattoos like back pieces, torsos or sleeves, and they focus on real traditional imagery. It's another one of the original versions of tattooing and has loads of ancient history attached to it. Things that are really common in Japanese tattoos are koi carp, cherry blossoms, samurais, food dogs, and just a crazy amount of other traditional Japanese imagery. Now, quick note, tattoos in Japan have long been associated with the Yakuza and other criminal gangs, so they have a terrible stigma attached to them in Japan. From all accounts, that does seem to be getting a bit better in recent times, however, but yeah, that's Japanese tattoos. Moving on to watercolor tattoos. Now, watercolor tattoos take their name and style from painting, and they use gradients of colors to create this painted effect. So let's say, for example, you want to get a pink watercolor tattoo. The artist would use a variety of pinks all the way from light pink to darker pink and everything in between to give it that free-flowing effect of a watercolor painting. Now, watercolor works great on its own, but it also works great as a background to bolder imagery, and you can also combine loads of different colors together, so the options with watercolor really are endless. Okay, so blackwork. Now, blackwork tattoos are bold, and I mean really, really bold. And as a generic term, it encompasses tribal, Polynesian, and generally any solid black tattooing. This style of tattooing is steeped in history, and it comes from traditions all over the world. Now, opinions on larger scale black work and complete blackout work vary. Some people love it, some people hate it, but one thing is for certain, these are definitely head-turning tattoos. Next up is script tattooing. Now, script tattooing is using text or wording to create a multitude of different tattoos. These can go all the way from smaller tattoos such as names, quotes or passages to really large, elaborate hand-drawn script pieces. So yeah, it's a bit of a broad term, and these tattoos could be bold or dainty, they could be really small or they could be really large. The options with script tattooing is really endless, but they all have the same thing at heart, which is lettering. Another really popular style is illustrative tattooing. Now, it's developed a lot in recent years, and it comes from the traditional style of art that you see in books and drawings. It involves loads of lines, shading, dot work, and a combination of loads of different styles to create this effect. Illustrative tattoos can be done in both colour and black and white, but predominantly we see it using the black tones only. It's also a style that is really versatile, so it could be a smaller tattoo or a really large illustrative piece. Okay, next up is geometric tattooing. Now, geometric tattooing is a slightly broader term which encompasses multiple tattoo styles together to create an overall geometric effect. They can use lines, shapes, dot work, blackwork, and many other elements to create these unique designs. Another aspect of geometric tattoos is sacred geometric tattoos, which include really popular designs such as the Flower of Life and a whole host of other ancient symbolic designs. Okay, so there we go. There's 10 styles of tattooing that we see most commonly. It's really important to note these aren't the only 10, and a few others include New School, Chicano, biomechanical, trash poker, and that's just to name a few. And on top of that, many artists are combining styles together to create crazy unique pieces and styles of their own, really. And maybe in the future we can do a little focus on that. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys soon.